You think you need 100 grand to invest in real estate? You've been told it's a game only for the rich, that you're locked out. Well, that's the old way. The rules have completely changed. Today, we're going to show you how to start building a real estate portfolio with whatever you have right now. This is your new playbook.
Okay, let's dive right in. First, we have to talk about the massive wall that stops most people dead in their tracks. I call it the $100,000 problem. It's this huge mental and, financial barrier that convinces so many people that real estate is a game they just can't afford to play.
This is the million-dollar question, isn't it? I mean, you see the headlines, you hear about people building incredible wealth, and you're just left there wondering, okay, but where do I even start? It feels like this giant, impossible puzzle, and the price of entry just seems way too high.
And here's exactly why it feels so impossible. The national median home price is sitting at a staggering $420,000. Just let that number sink in for a minute. That's the average starting line in this country.
So what does that $420,000 price tag actually mean in real dollars? Well, if you're playing by the old rules, a traditional 20% down payment plus all the closing costs and cash reserves, you need to come to the table with close to 100 grand. In cash. That's a huge pile of money just to get your foot in the door.
And this is the exact moment where most people get discouraged. They see that number and they just walk away. But listen, if you don't have an extra $100,000 just lying around, you are not alone. And way more importantly, you are not locked out of this game. The rules have fundamentally changed.
So let's start breaking those old rules right now. We're going to look at how you can actually start investing with less than $1,000. Seriously, this is where the new playbook really begins, and it's open to everyone.
Just look at the difference here. On the left, you see the old way. This one, massive, expensive property locked behind a huge gate of capital, and all the headaches of being a landlord. But on the right, that's the new way. Technology has completely smashed that lock, democratizing real estate and tearing down all those old barriers. And the key that unlocks this whole new world is something called fractional ownership, and it is a total game changer. Instead of needing to buy the entire building, you can now buy a single brick, or maybe even just a piece of a brick. You're pooling your money with other people to own a share of a property. And the best part? A platform handles all the management for you.
And your entry point can be incredibly low. We're talking about platforms like Arrived or Arc7, where you can literally buy shares of actual rental properties for as little as 20 bucks. Or you can look into REITs, that's R-E-I-T, Real Estate Investment Trusts. Just think of them like a mutual fund, but for real estate. Now the goal here isn't to get rich overnight. The goal is to build what I call knowledge equity. You're learning the ropes with almost zero risk.
All right, so you've learned the market, you've gotten your feet wet with a small stake, but what happens when you have a bit more capital to work with? Let's say $20,000 or more. This is where you can start making some really serious moves. Welcome to the 20,000 plus playbook.
Once you have more significant starting capital, two incredibly powerful strategies open up to you. First, you can partner up. You combine your resources with other people to go after a bigger, better property. This is way more common than you think. Or you can execute what I believe is the single greatest wealth-building hack for new investors, house hacking.
Now, I really want to double-click on house hacking, because if there is one strategy that can completely change your entire financial future, this is it. Let's break down how you can literally eliminate your single biggest monthly expense. Yeah, I'm talking about your housing payment.
The concept is almost deceptively simple, but the execution is just brilliant. You buy a small multi-unit property, a duplex, a triplex, a fourplex. You live in one of the units, and you rent out the others. I mean, just think about that for a second. Your tenants are paying down your mortgage. They are literally buying you an appreciating asset while you get to live in it.
And for this exact strategy, there's a secret weapon that is criminally underutilized, the VA loan. It allows eligible veterans to buy a multi-unit property with zero money down. But incredibly, only 9% of veterans ever use their full benefits. It's this massive legal advantage that most people don't even know exists. It's unbelievable.
And this breakdown right here just perfectly illustrates the power of this. Let's walk through the math together. You buy a fourplex for $750,000. Using a VA loan, your down payment is $0. Your total monthly mortgage, that's PITI, which is just a fancy way of saying principal, interest, taxes, and insurance, comes out to about $4,800 a month. But now look at the income. The rent from the other 3 units brings in exactly $4,800. Your net housing cost is $0. This isn't some fantasy, it's just math. You are living for free.
Okay, now that you see all the different paths available, from 10 bucks all the way to a zero-down fourplex, let's establish some core principles. These are the investor's golden rules that are going to protect you and pretty much ensure your success no matter where you start.
You know, I've seen countless new investors make the same painful mistakes over and over again. But there is one mistake in particular that kills more deals than any other, and avoiding this one thing is absolutely critical. So, what is the #1 deal killer? It's ignoring the boring stuff. Seriously, people get all swept up in the hype of a hot market and then they get absolutely crushed by reality. Pay very close attention to the 50% rule. So many new investors, they only focus on the mortgage and the potential profit. They completely forget that a huge chunk, often 50% of your rental income, gets eaten up by all the other expenses before you even touch the mortgage payment. It's a harsh truth that will save you a fortune.
So let's tie this all together with these 5 core principles. This is your foundation, whether you're investing $100 or $100,000. 1. Cash flow is king. 2. The specific neighborhood matters more than the city. 3. Always run conservative numbers. And 4, and this is maybe the most important, you have to start somewhere. Paralysis by analysis is your worst enemy. And 5. Never stop learning.
So look, the barriers are gone. The path is clear. The question isn't if you can invest in real estate anymore. The only question now is, how are you going to start? Your first step is waiting.
This is the Brick by Brick channel, where we help beginners build wealth through real estate, one brick at a time.